Hi, replay peoples and live peoples. I'm running a little bit behind today, I feel like. Hey, how are you? I forgot your name. It's not Christy, is it? Hi, Nina. Good morning. Well, still morning for me. Hi, Rhonda. Well, I guess it's brunch. It's approaching brunch. My mom's on her way. She'll be here in about 2 hours. She's outside of Nashville. Hi, Linda. Hey, I saw you signed up for the workshop. I'll send you an email, and then I'll get a package of your stuff in the mail to you soon. Good morning. Okay. Yay, you're taking the workshop. You're going to be with good people. The workshop is in-depth. So it's not just going through the Desire Map book. It's doing the kind of mini coaching sessions we do on here, but way, obviously more in-depth. So at least once on a call, excuse me, I'm fussing with my hair. At least once on a call, 1 or 2 people get some in-depth coaching, and the group can then listen to that. Because, if you're in the same group, I'm excited to have you. Do you hear this going on behind me? The little, her hissing and spitting, she's socially, she has no social skills. She's actually playing with him. And she sounds like she's being murdered. So, anyway. Just hanging out, waiting for my mom to get here. We're ready for the 5th cat to come. We're ready to not sleep for the next few weeks while everyone has hissing fits at each other. So I haven't been awake for very long, so excuse me, it's taking me a little bit to get going. No, I didn't. I didn't get back from taking care of the twins till nearly 11 because Sarah was home from work late. So I put everybody to bed before I left. So I haven't seen much. I've skimmed a couple of things and put a thing on Facebook this morning, but I haven't looked at anything in depth, but I will look for it. Okay, so today, my name is Michelle Wolf. You can find me at caddyshackdesigns.com. I'm a coach for healers and helpers. I run Desire Map workshops. There's one coming up October 20th. The ticket sales for that end. I had them set to end October 10th, but I may extend it to the 12th because Evie Toddy, you guys know her maybe as Web Evie. She's on Periscope every day, and she does a lot with Perry Girls. She's in the workshop now, and so she's promoting it. So I thought I might extend that ticket time into the 12th. But that's the latest because I have to mail you a workbook and essential oils and art supplies and stuff. So I can't cut it too short or people won't get their stuff in time. You two, don't make me pull this car over. They're behind me now, growling and spitting at each other. Okay, so let's focus. Let's have me focus. For October 9th, we're reading in A Course in Miracles in the text section, which is the first book, chapter 2, section 4, verse 1. And all it says in the Robert Holden Holy Shift book is, all healing is essentially the release from fear. There's a lot more to that verse, so I'm going to read some of it to you. And think about this. When we're in fear, what's happening to our physical bodies? And it makes perfect sense that all healing is essentially the release from fear, whether that's a natural healing or you go to the doctor and they give you a pill and that pill makes you feel better, whether it actually makes you feel better or it's a placebo effect. Same thing with essential oils, massage, acupuncture. When you're sick and you go get help, generally just the act of making the appointment starts to trigger some release from fear because you feel like you're going to be taken care of. Or you hope you're going to be taken care of. So, section 4 in the text, let me read to you a little bit about this. Our emphasis is now on healing. The miracle is the means. The atonement is the principle. Yeah, you're doing good stuff. You guys are all doing good stuff. And daily practice just opens the door for more and more healing, more and more releasing of fear, more and more taking control over your thought processes that are triggering a lot of the fear. To speak of a miracle of healing is to combine two orders of reality inappropriately. Healing is not a miracle. The atonement, or the final miracle is a remedy, and any type of healing from that is a result. You got to get down, buddy. I see what you're doing, and you're going to make a mess. And then I'm going to be upset. Okay, buddy, come here. Come on, get down. Oh, you guys. And we're adding a fifth one into this, and there's one back there. We're crazy. Okay. All healing is essentially the release from fear. To undertake this, you cannot be fearful yourself. You don't understand healing because of your own fear. A major step in the atonement plan is to undo error at all levels. Atonement meaning at one. So atonement is the process of not saying that you're a piece of crap and you're not worthy of the love of God or the love of the goddess or whatever. It's not like crawling on your knees begging for love and connection. It's recognizing you already have it. Hi, Michelle. Linda's joining you in the workshop. So that's good news. So atonement is remembering that you are already at one. So some people will spell it out at one meant, because it's atonement has, in some religions, has taken on this air of guilt and shame, and that's not what it's about at all. And if you were raised in a church like that, I'm really sorry, because that's a hard thing to overcome. And I feel like a lot of the church exposure I got was that you were not really worthy of God's love, and that's not the truth at all, because you already are it. It's already right there. That's the cosmic joke. It's already right there for you. And the process of becoming one with it is what they're calling the atonement. So the atonement is the final miracle that all healing comes from. Yeah, so when you really get it, that you are one with that incredible source, you start to live there more, because it feels so amazing that you start to seek it out more. And initially it can be kind of scary. It can be a little overwhelming. So you need to move your body so that that new energy gets adjusted. So, oh, okay. Well, we can talk about that. First of all, make sure you're safe, and then we can talk about that. So these processes of healing your body, there's some science there. Yes, there's some science to how our body responds to fear, which then impacts our health, our physical health, our mental health. So it's not just fear makes you feel bad. Fear and living in fear can actually destroy your body over time. It can lead to inflammation. It can lead to all the things that cortisol, yes, thank you. Your body is producing epinephrine, norepinephrine. Hey, hi sister. Fight or flight hormones. Your heart is racing faster. Your blood pressure is higher. All kinds of things are happening, and the problem is we get used to that. So we breathe shallow. And remember, we've talked about our blood flow goes from our front of our frontal cortex, where we make our good logical decisions and evaluate our pros and cons, to the back, to the survival. Dangerous stress, absolutely. When our blood flow is back here, we're reactive. We're not proactive, and we're not thinking logically. So we can tend, especially in high-stress jobs like military, hospitals. It's raining, so we'll hope that my signal holds. It just started raining. High-stress occupations can lead people to living at this kind of chronic body in fear state. So that's lots of hormones. That's lots of lack of oxygen. Yes, right. Your waist gets thick, and then you're stressed about that too. So it's like this never-ending cycle. The key to cutting through all of that is reaching for your connection to Source every day. Because when you do that, you feel safe. You're released from fear. All healing is released from fear. When you start to get released from fear more and more and more every day, then the things that you need to heal your body show up. You kind of cross paths with people that have what you need. So people cross paths with me and they need Reiki and essential oils. If they need a traditional doctor, they cross paths with someone who can lead them to the doctor or remove the perpetrator. But then you have to work on the pattern of that's underlying all that too. So there's still repair work to be done. So does that make sense? Like your long-term healing is going to come from long-term healing from fear. Baby steps. That's why you're here, baby steps. It is baby steps. Hi, Tanya. It's daily release from fear. It's daily looking at their part, your part, God's part, and what to do, make plans. Right. Because you guys, if you're here, you have awareness. People who don't have awareness aren't looking. They're not even looking. They're just still stuck in the swamp, and they haven't even woken up enough yet to recognize that there's some kind of problem. They haven't felt that. They may be feeling the restlessness of there has to be something more, but they haven't broken out enough to get... somebody else said they didn't get notifications the other day. Catherine, maybe? Somebody else did. Well, I noticed that our... Yes, it's your life and you have to take ownership of it. And you have to take total responsibility for how it's going to be. And not everybody wants to do that. Some people want to stay in the victim mindset, and other people are reaching to a more powerful position. Michelle, are you there? Oh, you are right there. Oh, okay, well, that's good to know. Unfollow me and follow me again. Yeah, okay, you know what? That did happen when I was trying to do a private broadcast with my sister. I didn't show up for her and she didn't show up for me. So we unfollowed and then refollowed each other, and then our names popped back up. That's the weirdest thing ever. Changing is tough. It's dealing with the devil you don't know. Yes. That's the joy of developing a daily practice and some supports, because it is scary and you need other people to kind of figuratively hold your hand. And if you don't have other people, like for a long time, I didn't talk to other people much about this stuff at all. So I surrounded myself with all kinds of spiritual texts. Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Thomas? So if you don't feel comfortable talking, people that have been through it and are on the other side and can help you through. Dustin. Your last name is Thomas? Dustin, nice to meet you. Spiritual texts. Okay, cool. Books. Lots of different books, because the message is all the same. It comes through people in different ways, that with their own style, with their own structure. So reading different authors, watching different Periscope people, going to different churches. Yeah, definitely. Looking at different theories helps strengthen your understanding of what you're going for, which makes going for it a little easier. Okay. Sickness or not right-mindedness is the result of confusion, because it always entails the belief that what's wrong on one level can affect another level. We've referred to miracles as the means of correcting confusion. Miracles are just a perception. Struggling with your relationship in life right now, it's a decision, absolutely. Well, you're in the right place, Dustin, because we're all going through some kind of struggle, so we can help each other. Only the mind is capable of that error of separation from spirit. And the distortions create physical illness in the body. We'll keep focus on those passions, and let a lot of the other stuff will just start to take care of itself. You'll be surprised. So, Michelle, are you there? Are you wanting to talk about what happened this morning? We can kind of group coach you through it if you want. We're prepared with our mala beads, and today we have our river figurine. Fire away and let's help. This little figurine is to remind you of flow. Flowing life. Whatever's happening, don't grip it, flow it, let it flow through your heart and out. Whatever emotions you're feeling, let those come up into your heart and flow out with total acceptance and total love. Yeah, I love her. And she has a little cloth in the base where you can put sacred water on, water that's sacred to you. So river water. I know, right? They're so cute. And this actually was a second. I think it was like $20 or whatever. And it's really heavy. It's solid clay from Oregon. Yeah. So, So let's hold a group intention for healing for everybody who wants it, for release from fear, for everyone who's capable of it and able to get there today. And Michelle, we're here for you. And, well, she's probably typing. We have a little bit of lag sometimes in the comments. He's locked in his room. It's his birthday, 13. He had a well-checked doctor appointment at 11. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not 13 anymore. Can't get an amen on that. 13's tough. 13's tough. Okay. So Kyle is 13. He's locked in his room. You're welcome, Nina. Smell the stress away today if you're anticipating a stressful day. It's not just the doctor. He doesn't want to go anywhere. It's Friday, too, right? Thanks for the hearts and shares, guys. So when we're dealing with kids, I'll just talk generally about this. We're required as parents. You tried bribing, then honesty, then physically. Yeah, you'll never get him out of there until he wants to come out of there, unless you call the police. He's not coming out. So these are the hardest times because we have such little information. He doesn't want to go to the doctor. Is he saying why he doesn't want to go to the doctor? Oh, he doesn't want to go anywhere. Is he giving you a reason why? And is he an introverted kid in general? When you get in a power struggle, I'm just speaking generally, not necessarily to Michelle. He's introverted. Let me talk generally about this, Michelle, and if it's not, it sounds like it may be just this morning, or is he always a struggle to get out of the house? So, I'm going to ramble along here, Michelle, and if it's not fitting, let me know and we'll go a different direction. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining. It's been happening for 2 years where he just doesn't want to go anywhere. Okay, so with introverted kids, a lot of times what you can see happen as we approach adolescence is the world becomes overwhelming. The struggles of physical puberty, the struggles of changing relationships can become truly overwhelming to a lot of kids, and especially to introverted kids who really struggle with the traditional school environment. A lot of kids do better actually in alternative schools if they're really introverted. So for today, for right this minute, if at all possible, I would say, you know what, Kyle? This is totally just a suggestion. So if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel appropriate to you, don't take it. This is not an instruction. If I was still working with this age group of boys, here's what I would do with a kid who wouldn't come out of his room. I would say, Kyle, obviously you got to come out of your room at some point. And here's the thing. I really want to hear you. I'm really concerned because I just don't understand. I don't think that you're broken or anything like that, and you're definitely not in trouble. But I don't get it. And so I need your help to help me understand why it's getting so hard for you to come out of your room. Like, probably it's anxiety. Ask him to help you understand it. My guess is it's massive anxiety that's getting worse as it gets further into puberty and doesn't know how to handle all the incoming stimulus. The world has a lot of bombardment. And when you tend to be an introverted personality, it can be very difficult to handle all that stuff coming at you if you really don't have skill to filter it. So some kids withdraw, some kids turn to drugs as a way of blanketing and muffling the outside world. Some kids get into trouble. I mean, it just goes anywhere. So I would say to him, I'm not going to push this. Obviously, I can't make you come out of your room. Treat him like a cat. That, if you can. You tried that too. Ask him wants to let him. I asked him to tell me how he wants me to let him know that we're leaving. Did you ask that in a moment of quiet or during a crisis? Right now, he can't hear you. And the best way to get information out of teenage boys is taking them to go play basketball or shoot pool. If there's a community rec center that you can play pool, driving them in the car, if you can ever get him in the car, driving him somewhere quiet before the demand. Okay. So now you're locked in a power struggle, and neither one of you can budge. He can't budge now because he's dug his heels in. Talking during video games, yes. Teenage boys can't handle a lot of intense conversation, especially with their parent. So talking side by side, yes. Heidi, I keep missing your things. I want to go back and watch some of your replays. When I tune in, I love it. Okay, so now that you're locked in the power struggle, you have to totally back away and take your energy out of it. Because he's feeling that and he's resisting you in a kind of a passive way, but he's still resisting you. Yes, I've been thinking about you. So you have to totally withdraw your energy. Now, if you can't leave him home alone, there's a different problem on your hands. But if you can leave the house with him there alone, you may just have to leave without him and cancel the doctor's appointment unless it's, life critical. But the thing is you can't, he's 13, you can't force him. So my suggestion, and I used to tell parents this all the time, but again, it's just a suggestion. Pull your energy out of it 100%. It's a well check. Your doctor's not going to be happy that you have to cancel it, but you can't get him out of the room. You can't bodily remove him. He sounds super sensitive, so the feeling I get is that he can't handle his life right now. He can't handle all the stimulus coming at him. He can't handle... Yeah. It's okay. He's trying to find a way to set limits, to filter, and he's not doing it very well because he's a kid. So for right now, today, take your energy out of it and just say, you know what, I'm going to be in the car. Or I don't know if you even have time for this, but sometimes it would work if I would say, hey, I'm going to be in the car and then I'm leaving. And, this is something that has to be done, so we can do it later, but we could go get it out of the way now, and I promise I won't talk to you. And you can go back by yourself if you want. And then sit in the car, and if he doesn't come out, he doesn't come out. Because you can't, at this point, you can't pick him up and move him. Does that work? It's just not working today. So you're doing some good stuff. Because sitting in the car and waiting for them, it's a game and it's a survival thing. Like it's, you guys have a pattern established now. So it's let me backtrack. It's a complex thing where now you have to completely pull your, right, because it's getting ridiculous, sounds like. Oh, no problem. We're just talking about parenting teenage boys. So here's what you can do. The first step is take your energy out of the situation completely. If the doctor charges you for canceling an appointment, then Kyle's, yeah, it's not at all. It's not at all. He's trying to find a way to exercise power. And if it's, so I would look for maybe ways that he can arrange other transportation maybe. But the bottom line of what's happening is there's something going on with him. Yeah, his independence. So finding places where he can be more independent and more responsible for his care, like, and have more choice so you aren't stuck in this kind of weird pattern that is not acceptable. But yet things still have to get done. So he still has to have safe places to exercise his independence. He's 13. At the same time, things have to be accomplished. So, yeah, I'm sure. Emotionally right now, feel as if you are holding something and then let it go. So just let the energy go. I don't think it's about that. I think it's, right, because it's not about that. At a deeper level, he probably can't even articulate what's going on for him, but he's a sensitive kid, and he's caught up in not knowing how to handle his current life right now is the bottom line. So, take your energy out of it for today. If the doctor charges you for being canceled, then you need to have a discussion with him, like how that's going to be paid for, because you made the appointment for him. He doesn't like to talk. That's okay. So you can have sideways conversations with him while you're doing other things. Texting is a good idea. And this is for later. So all you can do for today at the moment is take the energy out and say, and it's not going to be fixed today. If you can get him in the car to go to the doctor, great. If you can't, it's going to have to be canceled, and there's not much you can do about it for today. And we can do some pre-planning for what's going on with him as a 13-year-old introvert kid and how to handle that. Are you sitting in the car right now? You write him a letter? So one thing I used to do with boys is get a composition book. Just those dollar ones from Walmart. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because other people would probably beat his ass. So get a notebook, a composition book, and ask him, you're in your room, to go back and forth with you as a journal, if he will. So you can start it, and he may not, it may take him a while to respond, because I'm serious, they're like cats. You have to lay a trap. If you write to him honestly in your composition book, and you write to him about what it was like for you when you were 13, or go with your gut on what he needs to hear from you, and then give it to him and say, I'd love to hear your response on this, and we don't ever have to talk about it. We could just write if you want. Give it to him and wait. It's like putting food down for a feral cat. You have to put the food down, and you have to really back far away. And then they'll sneak up and kind of test the waters. and you stay very far back. And if he, give it even like a week or so, and just say, hey, have you thought about writing in that book? And if he just shrugs or grunts or whatever, say, well, I'd like to have it back, and I want to write some more to you, and you don't even have to write to me, but I'm going to keep writing to you. And you get it back, and you write to him. Oh, because it was probably convenient. Well, that's nobody's fault. When he knew the appointment was on his birthday, it might have been helpful for him to bring it up. But they can't. Right, he's off school. Yeah, it was convenient. Oh, so he's just sensitive. Oh, okay. So an introverted kid needs a lot of warning to build up in their head. Yeah, it's a good practical sense. Yeah, oh, I feel bad. I feel bad for you and for him. Did you try saying, I didn't realize that I should have given you notice, or I didn't realize it was going to upset you like this? Being an introverted kid, life is hard in general. I don't remember what I said. Yeah, oh, they need warning. They're a little autistic, sort of. They're little Asperger's. They need warning. So I'm a hardcore introvert, and I'm better about it because I'm just training myself to go with the flow of whatever happens. But as a kid, if people sprung stuff on, thank you. Oh, you're an extrovert, so you're like the total opposite. We need warning. Read the book Quiet. The best thing you can do is read the book Quiet by Susan Cain. So far, it's the best book about introverts I've ever read. We need warning, especially as a kid. Yeah, so they need to know in advance so they can have their fit and get to the acceptance point. Yes, it's called an ambivert. AMBIVERT. Are you reading it right now? When we moved to Puerto Rico, I had to tell my daughter everything. The whys, the whats, the what-fors, because the world is a scary place. So there's a lot of anxiety. So the more preparation you can do, the less anxiety there is. So with some of my teenage clients who were, I'll give you a specific example. I had one boy who was going to have surgery. He'd never even had decent medical care. Yeah, you can flip-flop back and forth. Yeah, they have to prepare, and they got to prepare info ahead of time. Yep. I took this boy to the hospital, and we walked all around the hospital. We had lunch at the hospital. I took him to where the surgery was going to happen. We talked about the equipment. We talked to a nurse. And that's like extreme because this kid had never even had like regular checkups. So doctors to him were terrifying, and he had to have a surgery. So just by that preparation, just so they know if they've never seen it before, or it's something that makes them anxious anyway, or it's something that is a surprise, they get caught off guard, and the immediate response is to dig in the heels because of fear. It's anxiety and fear. They can't label it that. They just know that all of a sudden they put the brakes on. So, yeah, it helped. It helped. But, you know, I loved doing that stuff. I loved working with teenage boys and girls. Boys more. Girls are rough. So, the only power an introverted kid often feels that they have is stubbornness. So what you tend to see is that these kids are sweet, easygoing, they're caring, they're almost too caring, they're empaths, they're intuitive, they feel deeply, and they'll go along easygoing until you hit something that scares them, and all of a sudden the brakes get slammed on, and you're not going to budge that kid for nothing. They're too caring. They feel, I used to describe it as feeling like I didn't have skin on. Like everything that came past my field of awareness hurt, like literally was painful. Sometimes physically painful, sometimes emotionally painful. And you can train yourself to live in the world. But as you see, I live in the middle of nowhere, and it's the happiest place for me. Oh, you're welcome. When you guys bring, you can bring your problems here or your issues here, and we can talk about them because, we got a lot of shared knowledge here. Have at least one of these children. You took his computer and phone, and he just got more mad. Yeah, because he's going to dig in more. You have to flip-flop with kids like this. The traditional privilege removal won't work. Yes, it's empathy. It's okay. Michelle, it's okay. You can come back from this. You guys can come back from this, and it will strengthen you. You have actually, I know it doesn't feel like it, but you actually have a lot of rich material right here to work with him with. Think cat. If you have an introverted, sensitive kid, cats die in shelters a lot because they cannot function under stress very well. It's not too late. It's not too late. So he can remember his birthday as conflict with his mom that then turned out okay. So don't stop where you are right now. Breathe and let go. Breathe and let go. Let go of him. Forgive yourself. Forgive him. Let it all go. Yeah, he won't. You feel bad right now, and that's okay. Yes, apologizing to your kids is so powerful, especially with a kid like this. Right, so cats can't handle stress. You have to give a cat time. We're bringing this 5th cat in today. God help us. Actually, it will be fine. We did try this before, but the cats are older now, and we have set up things and environment for her to come into. He gets migraines. Michelle, I started getting migraines when I was 10. Read that book quiet. No kidding. There's plenty of time. Absolutely. There's plenty of time to turn the day around. You have to let him go. The more you pursue an introverted kid, the further they're going to retreat. They have to survive. 10. That's when I got my first migraine. And I remember it very clearly. It was 5th grade, right around my 10th birthday, and I was flat on the couch, nauseated, and I didn't know what was happening. My family has a history of migraines. We're also all introverts. I think we might be a little autistic. We're somewhere on the Asperger's scale, probably. He has his covers over his head a lot. Yeah, it's too much. It is hard for extroverted parents. God bless your hearts. It's like you get this kid and you're like, what is wrong with you, kid? We have to function in the world. What is the problem? Cord cutting. Okay, compassion. You can cord cut with situations. You can cord cut with your children. You can cord cut tension. Toss some stuff up there, Heidi, real quick. And Michelle, yeah, watch the replay on cord cutting. The best thing you can do is pull back from him entirely. This is the same thing that happens in relationships your husband explains the girls to me a lot because he's an introvert. Yeah. They're different. They're like cats. They're the kids that hang back and watch before joining in. And then they'll usually join in and have a great time. But they gotta check things out first. New cats will hide under the bed for a week or 2. And then they'll slowly start creeping out. They get the lay of the land. Then they check stuff out, and they may be the most affectionate thing in the world. Yeah, it frees up your energy. Yeah, it just takes him a while. It takes me a very long time. Not now. I'm talking about when I was way younger. I wouldn't even make eye contact with cashiers at stores. Eye contact was painful. It will be fine. It helps people connect to their hearts and come from a better place. Yeah. And here's the thing, too, Michelle. If you know he's going to be okay, you can relax a little and let yourself off the hook. He is going to be okay. He has a mom who's looking for answers. He has a mom who's going to seek to understand him instead of crush him. Introverts get abused a lot because people don't understand, and it tends to bring out violent impulses in parents who are of that nature. Sky cried as a baby when people just looked at her. Yes, it's terrifying. Until I was old enough to say, if you sing me happy birthday, I will punch you in the face. I hated my birthday because people would sing that song and all look at me and I would cry. I could not tolerate the attention. All my birthdays as a little kid, I cried. I couldn't stand it. The sudden attention of everyone looking at me was completely overwhelming, and I would just bawl and stick my face in my mom's legs, and or whoever was near me, I would just stuff my face in the couch. It's terrible. I believe that, yeah, it's literally just like being born exposed. And so in the old days, introverts would have been the mystics, the hermits, the look at her but not talk. Yeah. My daughter hid behind me until she was 9 years old. When we met new people, she would step behind me. And she would watch. And fortunately, we had teachers that would work with me, and they would let her stand off at a distance and watch, and then join in activities. And when she got overwhelmed, they would let her go sit in a reading corner. They would let her go read and come back. Yeah, but you can see how a lot of damage can be done if you have parents that don't work with it. Not only that. So we can attach cords to people we love that bring a sense of attachment. The more free we can be with the people we love, the more loose we can be, the better they can be themselves with us. Does that make sense? Like, our attachment should be to God. Our soul connection should be to Source, our own Source. Because the better off we are and centered in ourselves, yes, loosen it. So you're a parent still, and you have an actual neurological connection to him still. But you're cutting the cords of expectation. Let's put it that way. You're cutting the cords that may wish for him to be different. And I'm not saying this is what you're doing. I'm just saying in general, you're cutting the cords of expectation that others be or do or say or think in a particular way. Yes, emotional entanglements. So you're cutting expectations. You're cutting judgment. And judgment isn't always a bad thing. It's evaluation. We evaluate each other all the time. Cutting cords of expectations. He's a different kid. Introverts are different kids. And I think it's hilarious. Yeah. Do you want to? I can go grab them. We're just chit-chatting now. Let me go grab and let's pull a card. Let's pull from 2 decks. Let's pull from the Vintage Wisdom. Yeah, you guys are great. Why? What are you apologizing for? Stop that. Stop it. Creates pockets of unaccessed energy. When you cut cord, you get power back. Everybody run over and watch HJ's scope. This was yesterday, right? Because I saw it and I wanted to watch it and I just haven't had time for anything. Let's draw from here. Stop it! And then let's also draw from here. Sometimes this is deep. So let's just draw and see what we get. We'll just be open to see what we all need to hear today. Compassion scope, yes. So, my mom I should still have time to watch it, and it's true. Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about that, in The Power of Now, in Stillness Speaks. The reason why strangers can work with your kids typically better than you is we don't have expectations of them. That's why getting your kid a mentor, like a big brother type person to hang out with them, can be really helpful, because as parents we have expectations. We can't help it. We're their parents. We want them to do well. We want them to be happy. It used to drive parents nuts when me or one of my coworkers could get, oh, that's cool, could get a kid out of a car in our parking lot when they couldn't. But it was different. We didn't care if they got out of the car. If they didn't get out of the car, we didn't work with them. So because they're like cats, they would get out of the car and talk with us because there was no tugging on them. An introvert can feel you tugging on them like a physical presence. Until people get to know me and know that when I say no, yay, go be a mom. Thanks for popping in, HJ. It was so timely. For an introvert, no has to be respected or they won't be your friend anymore. Like friends that push and tug and pull on him, he won't keep them as friends. And I don't either. We have, oh, look what we got. Look at this picture, guys. Oh, I kind of want to water up a little. Look how sweet. Peace. Mother and child. Mother and child. Oh. Stupid Periscope. Gosh dang it. Well, we're going to be on here for a few minutes, Rhonda. Keep trying. So perfect. Is that not so perfect? So we'll read about it. Let's read it, and then we'll pull from the other deck and see. The classical depiction of Mary cradling the infant Jesus was chosen for its serene and timeless beauty. The quiet lake scene in the distance suggests peace, homecoming, and the simple grace of motherhood. A cascade of fragrant white jasmine symbolizing love in Hindu culture softly cradles the scene. Our need for peace is universal, and this card invites you into its sanctuary to gain insight into your current predicament. Peace is not only found in calm, harmonious surroundings. Peace is a state of being which is cultivated from within. Duh! Thoughts have the power to free or enslave the thinker. Quality of thoughts is mirrored by your reality, in turn affecting your potential to experience real and lasting peace. Face slap. One of the first steps on this journey is acceptance. So be aware of any potentially paralyzing thoughts, such as judgment or criticism. Meditation and yoga are effective. With practice, you can discipline restless thoughts and lead the mind to the still oasis of the present moment. In the Shambhala tradition of Buddhism, acceptance. Yeah, there's a balance between there are expectations when you live with a family, but how those expectations are fulfilled can be pretty loose. And they can be adapted for kids like this. They call taming your mind like taming a wild horse. And it's hard. Through stillness, you can learn to listen with your entire being and cultivate direct relationship with oneness, which is always at peace regardless of your mortal circumstances. Selfless service to others can also be a way, a path. By creating a space unencumbered by restraints of the mind and dramas of the ego, peace can breathe. I'm going to read that again. By creating a space unencumbered by the restraints of the mind and dramas of the ego, peace can breathe, contemplate, and lead you to a richer understanding of its authentic nature. If you have inner peace, nobody can force you to be a slave to outer reality. Whoosh. That was a good one. That was a good one. So let's see what we have. Horse. The mind is like taming the wild horse. Yeah. You'll see horses a lot in Tibetan Buddhism, Shambhala tradition. My Austin, who is 13 too, is a lot like your son. Yeah. And it can be hard to spot introverted kids sometimes because they can be really engaging and friendly and talkative. They'll talk your ears off and stuff. But that's only with the people that they trust. And usually if they go to a party or school, and when they get done, they're exhausted. School used to be terribly exhausting. There are a lot of sensitive souls right now. We need them. But we have to also teach them how to survive in the world as it is at the moment. So let's pull from this Kuan Yin deck too. Just for fun. Yeah, to facilitate a greater awareness of things that we have forgotten. I think the introverted people coming to the limelight now, which is so ironic, right? Because introverted people don't want to be seen. And yet here is all this discussion about introversion. His trust issues due to us being homeless for 3 years. Yeah. And that's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up about that, because those kinds of experiences may really help him where he's going. Things that happened to me as a kid really were an advantage for me later in life. My sketchy upbringing became a really powerful tool, and still is. It took a lot of work. Then he should probably watch Heidi's thing too about cutting cords, because you do the best you can. He's still with you, right? He's not in foster care. He's not sitting in jail, and 13-year-olds can sit in jail. Oop, we had a jumper. Okay. Yeah. So as a father, that's like extra difficult. So the one that fell out is Daughter of the Phoenix. So much glare. Gosh. How about that? You can kind of see it that way. The thing is, even with our kids are born through us, but they are not us. We give them a body to house their soul, and we do the best we can. But we don't know their destiny. We don't know what they're here to learn. We don't know what they need to experience to do things later in life. It's not our business. We just don't know. So we just do the best we can. That's all we can do. I don't know what your destiny is. I just show up here every day and try to offer you stuff. A serious Virgo. So he's probably pretty intense. Okay, Daughter of the Phoenix. Let me show you again because it's so beautiful. Hey, Tony. We just pulled a card, Daughter of the Phoenix, from the Kuan Yin deck. We've had some discussion today on introverts and teenagers. Teenage boys specifically. Okay. I know. It's beautiful. It's so intense, though. I don't use it very often because I really have to pay attention. It's like deep. It's the deepest oracle deck. When the soul is ready to spread its wings, it goes through a deep cleansing, purification, and preparation for new levels of spiritual wisdom, power, and light. Just like the phoenix that is baptized through celestial fire to be born anew, you are going through such a phase of heavenly purification, preparation, and initiation. This is an advanced phase. I think this one is for the group. This one feels like it's for the group of us. And the replay watchers too, for the regulars. This is an advanced phase of soul growth, and soon after you will enjoy greater spiritual peace, divine power, and advancement on your divine life path. Kuan Yin, daughter of the Phoenix, has been through fire, both physical and heavenly, and has ascended into a position of great spiritual peace, power, and authority. She guides you now to claim your rebirth and ascend. Oh, this is so good. This is so perfect for all of you and me. In the same way that if we were moving house, we would need to sort through our possessions. And sometimes it is an opportunity to let go of that which we do not wish to take with us into new life. As we prepare to move into higher levels of consciousness, there are old habits, stuck emotions, and stagnant energy that have to be released. They do not belong where you're going. And the process of releasing them, I know one of my workshop participants is going through this right now. When you make the commitment, we've talked about this before. When you make the commitment to set your feet on a spiritual path, everything that is not like love comes up for you to get rid of. And it can be chaotic and ugly for a while. And that's okay. Claiming our divinity and oneness. Clear out those ego attachments. Yes, let them go. And understand that the process, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're growing. Like the anger of a teenage boy. Anger is his defense. It's the only way he knows how to set limits. So teenage boys don't know how to say, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. I need some space. They can't say that. All they can do is get pissed, because if they get pissed, people will leave them alone. So it works. The path of purification by celestial fire is preparation for spiritual enlightenment, greater happiness, well-being, prosperity, all the good stuff. It can be a challenging time, as that which would stand in the way of your new growth has to be eliminated. And often these things are deep fears, doubts, and questions about our own worth and ability. Right. It works. Anger works. So you have to teach them other ways to ask for space. Let me backtrack. You have to teach them to recognize the need for space and then how to ask for it. We cannot let go if we don't even realize what we are still holding on to within us. So shadow work. The more light you shine, the more shadow you see, which means you get to see what is still there so you can do something about it. It's not scary. It doesn't have to be scary once you understand what's going on. This initiation will help you release old baggage and pain that will not resonate. Yeah, you're waking up. So just like it's saying, you're waking up, you're shining light on yourself, you're allowing more source to flow through you, which means everything that doesn't match it has to come up and out, away. It gets cast aside. How is this you, this card? I would see you going through this, or you're parenting. Which part? The Course in Miracles stuff? I see you as reaching for, how is this situation you? It's letting you know where the tangles are. As you reach for Source, your relationships change. So in Course in Miracles, yes. Okay. With your son, reflection, yeah. Where in you, yes. So where in you are you not saying no? Where in you do you need better communication skills? Where in your life are you not taking this space that you need, or taking this space that you need in a maybe not dysfunctional way, but how are you with anger? How are you with the demands of other people on your time? You can spin his behavior back to you by asking those questions. Is anger disowned in you? Is the right to claim space disowned? Is the sensitivity disowned? I would say look in his behavior and see what triggers you the most, and that is for you. That is your part. The information for you. There you go. You don't feel you have a right to be angry because there's a story there. So what is your story about anger? So if you find this, and you, whether it's anger or sadness or whatever, here's the questions you can ask. Why not? If I get angry, then what's going to happen? Will people stop loving me? If I get angry, am I going to be abandoned? How old was I? I'm just going to fire these off, Michelle, so you might have to watch the replay to get them. But so let me fire off questions that you all can ask yourselves when you find that disowned part. Well, how old was I when I first felt this? Where was I when I got the message it wasn't okay to be, what? Angry, sad, jealous, whatever. Who did I get the message from? Is this a family trend? People told me you shouldn't be angry. Right. Because they don't want you to be angry. It's uncomfortable. They couldn't handle it, so they had to shut you down. So people tell us that we shouldn't feel the way we feel, and so we go, oh, I didn't know that. I guess I shouldn't feel this way. And we start to shut it away and block it off, and it becomes our shadow. And we get surrounded by angry people. Hi, Dawn. We're talking about shadow work. Right. So if you've disowned anger, you'll be surrounded by angry people. If you've disowned sadness, you'll find yourself surrounded by depressed and sad people. It's mirroring. So your son's behavior is mirroring back to you his process and your process. Thanks. I still haven't dug into Pet Lovers Tribe. I have a lot going on. I absolutely intend to do so. Is that making sense, Michelle? So the more comfortable and accepting you can be, you can use his anger as a way to embrace it. You can embrace it in him and then embrace it in you. You knew you could marry your husband when you were able to argue and fight with him. Good. Good. So the gift you give your families, guys, when you start to do this work, when you change, they have the opportunity to change too. As you accept your anger, they will find acceptance for their anger as well. You change the world one heart at a time, but you have to start with your own. So the tenderness that you have for your son is the tenderness you need to apply to yourself as well. He was the first one I could own that feeling with because he made me that safe. He would still love you. Yes. Yeah. That's such a gift. That is such a gift. Yeah. And in a zombie apocalypse, he's going to be a savior. Tanya's husband and mine are very similar. So let me just skim over this real quick. Have faith in your progress, Michelle and all of us. And remember not to get attached to what is leaving your life. Letting go of the old energies with trust, even if you don't understand what's going on, is the fastest way to move forward. To pass initiation and benefit from it, be prepared to surrender. Your Eagle Scout. Oh, that's the cutest thing ever. He's going to be able to find water and food. Have faith and fearless trust that you are safe. The initiation is in its final phases when you are able to put your new beliefs and talents to the test, living your life based on your new principles, trust, faith, and love. No matter what is presented now, it's an opportunity for you to practice. You guys are here every morning studying. Yeah. So go out in your life, spiritual warriors, and practice your new skills. Then the celestial fire will have soon done its work, and you will rise like a glorious phoenix ready for a new life. And of course, it's not that linear. You don't wake up one day and go, oh, I'm done. Check and done. It doesn't work like that, of course. It's just one day you know that anger doesn't bother you anymore. One day someone gets angry around you and it doesn't trigger you. Yeah. One day someone can dissolve into tears around you and it doesn't make you harden up against their pain. And one day sitting in traffic is no big deal. You just call a friend or listen to a book. And you don't fight against being stuck in traffic. You just are where you are in every moment. You guys are doing amazing things. Y'all being willing to bring your issues to this morning group and allow us to all work with them together is an enormous learning opportunity for everyone who watches it live and who watches the replay. And there typically aren't a lot of, no, you are. We all are. It's the magic. We make the magic together. I just turn the camera on and show up. I'll take credit for that. I'll take credit for showing up and turning the camera on and babbling and letting. I told my mom, here's what happens on my side of the camera. I come with the book. I have to have the book for the structure, something to start with. And then as we're talking, I either start to hear things in my head, not like someone talking to me, but I get an impulse in my head to throw something out there. Or one of you throws something out there, and then there's a momentary confusion in my head where my mind goes blank, and then it starts rolling again. But it's rolling in what feels like a different way. That used to happen to me as a therapist a lot too. I start talking with a client or a kid or an adult or whatever, and then all of a sudden my mind goes blank, and then we get to the heart of it. I've just learned to trust it. In the beginning, it was terrifying. In the beginning, I would be like, oh my God, I'm a horrible therapist because my mind just goes blank. But then good stuff happens. So I've just learned to trust the process, and you can do that too. You can trust your process, and you can tell yourself all the time, it's going to be okay, because it really is going to be okay. It really is. No matter what's happened, no matter what's happening, no matter what's going to happen, it is going to be okay, because you are so deeply loved. And any second that you can give yourself awareness of that love is a boost. It will keep you going. And it will keep you growing. And there's ebbs and flows. So there may be times where you're like, I just can't watch this Periscope because I need a rest. I need to integrate. Yes. Quiet by Susan Cain. Yes. She's on Facebook. She has a website. Holy shitstorm of hearts today. Guys, love for all of us. So much love for us. You know how, here's what I'll leave you with, because I gotta go. But here's what I'll leave you with. You know when you fall in love with someone, those first few months, or if you're lucky, years, you only see the good in them, and any stupid ass thing they do, you're like, oh, isn't that cute? That's so cute that he puts my coffee cup on the top shelf where I have to drag over a dining room chair to reach it. Isn't that adorable? Which is, it's not funny now, but this morning I was a little bit pissed that my coffee cup was up so high. But when you're in love with someone, you only see the good. You can look for the good. You focus on the good. Totes adorbs. Blop, you Treat your life that way. Put your focus on the good, and anything that happens, just let it go. There's a car coming up our road. But then 2 years later, you're like, you put my coffee cup on the top shelf on purpose. Oh, my mom's here. Yeah, I think that's my mom. Okay, I gotta go. We'll come back this afternoon. We're gonna go to a rock shop in Woodstock, Georgia, and if we have signal, we'll scope from there. Okay, I go see my mommy. Love you guys. Love you guys. Hey, there you go, Tony. There's my reframe. I needed the exercise. I will. Bye, ladies and men and ladies. I gotta be careful about that.